Hi guys, hope everybody is well. This is lesson 11, introducing multi-layer effects. A lot of you guys know how to do this already. Like I said, a lot of this Avid training is really kind of review, but there's going to be just some language applied to some of the things that we're doing. That's what Avid is hoping that you will be able to notice on the exam. So let's talk about creating split screens in Avid using picture-in-picture and using multi-layer effects. When we're doing multi-layers, if you look down here in your timeline, you'll see I have video track 1 and video track 2. By going up to timeline, new, and video track, you can create as many layers as you want. There's a few ways to create extra video tracks. Going up to the timeline and new, as I just pointed out, you can right click on your timeline, go to new and video track that way, and you can also hit Command Y. Command Y will add another video track as well if you want to get them done quickly. So here I have a timeline. What I'm going to do is show you quickly how to use the picture-in-picture to create a multiple layered effect. What we're going to do is we're actually going to do, I'm going to edit this in and use the picture-in-picture effect. So you already know really how to, you already know the foundation of how to do this. You know how to patch tracks, you know 3-point editing, you know how to apply effects to multiple segments and selectively, you know how to selectively view tracks. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to take this picture right here and I'm going to insert it over this picture of the guy flipping around. So what if you notice over here in my patching, I have video 1. Okay, so remember this side represents the source side, so this is showing me I have one track of video and one track of audio in my source monitor. Okay. So I turned my audio off because I don't need my audio, and I patched video 1 to video 2. So now I am set to edit on this track. I'm going to do a mark in there and go to the end and do a mark out. So you can see how it highlights on the track you're going to edit on. If anything else was selected, it would highlight that track as well. So notice how when I turn my audio on, it selected my audio, and if I were to overwrite this in, it would erase my audio, which is not what I want, or replace the audio with the source audio, which is not what I want. So make sure you pay attention to your patching and pay attention to what tracks you have activated. So now that I have video 1 on video 2, I'm just going to go ahead and overwrite that in, and you can see I now have 2 tracks on top, or 2 clips on top of each other. By using your little monitor over here, you can actually go between what video track you're looking at. So right now I'm only looking at video track 1. I'm going to move that up, and now I can see what's on video track 2. Because this clip is full screen, it completely covers the clip beneath it. So we're going to go to our filters and to blend, and we're going to use a picture-in-picture effect. I'm going to click and drag that on top of that clip. Now you can see how it made the picture half size, and we can clearly see the video beneath it. We go into Effect Editor, and it brings up all of the parameters that you can do for the picture-in-picture. I always like to shrink my workspace because you're not actually shrinking the video, you're just shrinking down the workspace. So this is still full screen, but you've just made it just a little bit smaller in case you have to come off screen for any reason for any type of effect. If you look over here in the effect editor, you'll see you have border, you have foregrounds, scaling, position, and crop. All right. It looks intimidating, but it really is not that difficult. So what we're going to do is picture-in-picture actually gives you a wireframe right around it, so I can actually make it bigger, I can make it smaller, I can squeeze it if I wanted to squeeze it, I can make it wider if I wanted to make it wider. So you can actually do whatever it is that you would like to do and manually over here in the wireframe. If you want to be a little bit more precise, you can come over here to, you can see how I can slide the positioning along the x-axis or along the y-axis. By promoting it to 3D warp down here, I can actually use the z-axis as well, but we're going to leave it just in the 2D version right now for picture-in-picture. This right here gives you a border, so I can actually put a border around this if I choose to. Here's my width, so you can see how I can have a border. Let's say I want to change the color. You can either use a color eyedropper if you would like. I can move around and pick whatever color I'd like. Okay, so we can make it green. But we're going to just leave it white. I can soften the border. You can see how the border gets a little bit softer if I choose. And then I can position this wherever I would like. So say I would like this down in the lower left-hand corner. And now I have a picture-in-picture multi-layer effect. I can actually create more layers up here and actually do, say, another shot up here, maybe another shot here, and then you can see this guy flipping around in the upper right-hand corner. The next thing that you need to know is how to use keyframes. Okay, so keyframes allow you to animate your footage or animate your video. So say I wanted to make this move from the bottom up to the top. I'm going to use a keyframe. Okay, so you see how I have one automatically set in there. I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to go to the very beginning and I'm going to add a keyframe. Keyframes can be manipulated when they're highlighted in pink. So this one is highlighted, so any change I make to this video, okay, will stay the same throughout the entire length of the video. So say I want to start it on the bottom but slowly move it up to the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the end of the clip and I'm going to move this up to the top. So notice how it added another keyframe, but the keyframe at the start of the clip has now gone gray. So I didn't adjust the parameters of this keyframe. So when I play this, it's going to animate. It's going to slowly go from keyframe to keyframe. And you can add as many keyframes as you'd like. I could put a keyframe here. Let's say I wanted to scoot over that way. So it's going to go to that keyframe, and then from that keyframe over to there. So there's so that is how you would animate a video clip, okay? By playing around with keyframes. I can highlight multiple keyframes, say these two keyframes, and maybe start it off screen. So now it's going to stay off screen from this keyframe to this keyframe, but then from here to here, it's going to move up to the upper left-hand corner. So let's see what that looks like. So it stays off, and then now it's going to move in. Okay? So all different cool things you can do with your keyframes. Now, if you were final thing, if you remember from your the last chapter we were talking about time warping, you can actually spline and shelf, Bezier, or make these keyframes linear. Okay? And you can do that right down here. So by clicking on, let's see, it's making a liar out of me. Where is it? Where is it? Is that it? No. No. I can't remember. Oh, here it is right here. Oh, nope, that's not it either. Don't laugh at me. I know it's been a long 2 days. But you are able to, I think you can click on the keyframe. actually click on the keyframe. No, I'm going to have to look it up. I'm sorry about that. But you can have interpolation effects on your keyframes. Okay, so that's my bad for not knowing where it is right off the top of my head. The last thing I'd like to show you before I wrap up this lesson is how to slide clips up and down the timeline. So say I like this shot right here, okay, but I really want it to be on the top layer. I want it to be on video track 4. I can click on my segment mode tool, and I can lift this up. Okay, but if you notice as I lift it up, it doesn't stay exact. I don't know if it's the exact. I want it to be the exact width as the bottom clip. So as I move it up, I run the risk of not making it exact. So there's a way to do that, and it's by holding down the command key. As I hold down the command key, I can actually move it up and down the timeline, and notice how it snaps right to the top. I am not moving it any frames. I'm not losing any frames. So by holding the command key and going up and down your timeline, you can actually snap it to the track without losing any frames. Okay, that is it for lesson 11, and we'll see you in lesson 12. Leon out.